What is the best gaming moment you have experienced? Rimworld. I was hunting deer and angered the pack. My entire colony was quickly wiped out by a bunch of deer. My tamer was the only one to survive, so once he was in good health I grabbed my army of squirrels and set out on another deer hunt. My tamer died wearing all deer clothing, with a belly full of deer meat, doing what he loved most, killing deer. The cause of death was an infected turtle bite though. If only I had an artist to properly immortalize this moment. I freaking love this game. Seeing the moon in Portal 2, I knew exactly what the frick was about to go down. The end with the moon was pretty fantastic, but that game had so many crazy great moments, like waking up Gladys for the first time in that game, or when you realize who Caroline is. Beating that fricking rocket racer C in Lego Racers. He had such a smug little smile and I was glad when he stood a mere second after witnessing my wormhole smackdown. This goddamn plastic ass Mythfriker. I once won a round of SWAT in Halo Reach alone. My entire team left, with 46 kills and no deaths. Never in my life have I played so well, before or since. Beating another team in Rocket League after around 14 minutes of overtime was a very intense match. I used to love just driving around in GTA, Vice City, listening to the awesome 80s music. I remember one moment where I caught some air. The game went into the slow-mo cinematic view with the sun setting in the background as more than this was playing on the radio, and it was just sublime. I freaking love that game. I used to spend hours in that game just cruising and catching air everywhere I could in all different vehicles. That game sparked my life for 80s tunes when I had previously looked at it all as lame or gay. Helps that they included bands like Slayer and Ozzy, because I love me some metal. Oblivion. Leaving the sewers and experiencing a vibrant green world in the Imperial City Tower in the distance. Storming the beach at Normandy in Medal of Honor, Frontline. God, that whole game was a masterpiece back in the day. Back when Halo 3 Odst was new, Bungie issued a challenge to complete 4 full sets of their new firefight game mode on Heroic or harder. A set consists of 3 rounds, and a round consists of 5 waves. So, my friends and I sat down one evening and slogged through all 60 waves of a Covenant onslaught. As the game goes on, difficulty modifiers get added, famine kicks in, and weapons now drop with half ammo. Black Eye kicks in and you can only regenerate health by punching enemies. Or catch gets enabled and the enemy suddenly has a ton of grenades, and you're Bruno Mars. Now combine all these and more, and the game gets complicated. Looking back, the achievement wasn't terribly difficult, but it is one of my fondest memories of gaming. The rush we got after completing 2 hours and 51 seconds of non-stop action is unforgettable. I had a blast, and have to congratulate Bungie on an awesome experience. My roommates and I like to set bots to max at the lowest difficulty on Nuketown in Black Ops 2. One time we were huddled together in the middle of the map, when all of a sudden all 9 bots just pile out of one of the second story windows, one after another. Many of them had difficulty jumping out, so these mildly retarded soldiers were bouncing up and down and running into each other. It may not be the best gaming experience I've had, but dang if it wasn't hilarious to watch. I was crying in laughter. Yep, definitely doing this with my friends now. Thanks. The ending of Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater. You're in a beautiful field of flowers blowing in the wind, standing over your opponent, who happens to be your mentor, lover, and friend. You've just defeated her, and now you have to kill her. You stand over her holding her own weapon, and the camera pans back and just sits there. I sat for a full 5 minutes waiting for something to happen, but it doesn't. The game makes you pull the trigger. It isn't a cutscene anymore. You kick off the rest of the series with that button, by executing an innocent woman in that field. Crap was powerful, man. Then all the white flowers turn red. Crap was nuts, yo. Doing the For the Horde achievement on WoW when I was like 13. I was woefully underleveled, but running around enemy territory with a group of 40 plus was exhilarating. Plus I got my bear mount really early. For those that don't know, the achievement is to go to every main city on the opposing faction and kill the leader. It's pretty tough and takes a lot of planning. It's geeky as heck, but my desktop background was a screenshot of everybody in a circle with their new black war bear mounts circa 2009 or so. Vigil conversation in Mass Effect. Just felt like all the secrets of the universe had been revealed to me, and a bunch of seemingly random things all connected at once. A long time ago I was playing Ultima Online as a thief. I found a guy killing skeletons in a graveyard and offered to heal him with bandages. Instead he asks me if I want to buy a sword. I say sure. Show it to me, and right there in the middle of nowhere he plops open a crate filled with swords and armor. So of course I steal one. I skulk off and hide until I'm no longer grey, meaning anyone can kill me for committing a crime. Then I return. I'm still grey to him, meaning he can kill me for revenge, but no one else can. He realizes what I've done because when I leave the screen and return it makes my name appear on his screen briefly, which shows him that I'm grey. Of course he attacks me, but this is what I wanted. Once he attacks me, I'm allowed to defend myself per the game's mechanics. So I take off running to town with this guy chasing me. I keep stopping to cast poison on him and his health is just draining real slow the whole time. He starts trying to call the guards, which won't work BC I let my criminal status expire before I approached him the second time, but it leaves him open for a few bigger spells, so I blast him. He starts to realize he isn't going to win, and he realizes he has a ton of valuable stuff on him, so he runs to the bank to try and deposit it, but alas, 1 second after he utters the command bank which opens your bank vault, I blast him with an energy bolt, ending his life. I end up getting the entire crate of armor and weapons, but the story doesn't end there. This guy shows back up and says at the bank, I'm paying $100,000 GP for the head of an ebadpote. So this rando PMs me and says, wanna split 100,000 GP, and I agree. I ditch all my items in the bank and we fake a battle in view of this guy. I let him kill me, and after he gets paid he resurrects me and cuts me my half of the gold. After I sold the items I ended up making 150k GP off this one mark. Best heist ever. And before you ask, this was how you played UO. It wasn't griefing back then. Reaching round 45 on World at Warcraft. Completing the Mass Effect 2 suicide mission with no deaths for the first time. It's built up throughout the entire game and it pays off because when you do it you feel like an absolute badass who just took on an entire army in one. Admittedly it ain't that hard to pull off if you're doing, but still. Also the Normandy being invaded was intense. On my first playthrough I had no idea it was coming, so it was a big shock. Yeah, the first time round it feels extremely tense. It's just on later playthroughs that you realize it's just a case of doing loyalty missions and picking obvious choices. Spec Ops, The Line, Gentlemen, Welcome to Dubai. Alternatively, Prince of Persia, The Two Thrones. After playing all 3 games, the last line almost made me weep. Was playing FIFA with a group of friends. We would do random teams with one chance at redo if you don't like the team you got first. Buddy ends up with a half-star English team and rerolls to get Real Madrid. I get single-star Russian team and reroll. I end up with a half-star English team this time around. Fully expecting to get rolled, I pulled everyone back and played defense the entire game, hoping to force my way to a shootout after OT. My buddy, who is very good at FIFA while I was above average, was a bit cocky but was starting to get frustrated that my guys kept getting in his way. In the closing minutes of the second half I got my chance. On a corner kick, he kicked it too hard and one of my guys ended up with the ball. Turned into a breakaway and somehow my player got behind his last defender. My terrible striker versus one of HTE best goalies in the world. He pulls the keeper thinking he can get to the ball before I get my shot off. I chip his keeper and watch the ball just barely cross the line. Buddy starts flipping crap and now realizes he only has stoppage time to score. Whiffs on his one chance in stoppage and storms out of my apartment for about 10 minutes. This happened almost 4 to 5 years ago and we still don't let him live it down. No matter how many times he beats me in FIFA, he still lost as one of the best teams in the game to a team he should have put 5+ on. Far Cry 3 Flaming the Drug Fields. Make it Bundem. Back in my Battlefield 2 days I unintentionally got a guy ban kicked from the server for team kills through an unintended glitch. This happened on the Mashta City map. I was playing a sniper on the tall building overlooking the mosque cap point, which was always one of the most contested cap points on the map. A fully loaded Black Hawk comes in and starts to hover cap the point. The 50 calories rifle had just come out, which allowed snipers to put rounds through the armored glass of the Black Hawk. I domed the pilot, one-shotting him. Without a pilot, the Black Hawk proceeded to crash, killing everyone inside. Whether it was due to a glitch, or just how it was handled at the time, though, the now deceased pilot got the credit for all of the kills from the crashed Black Hawk, and was instantly ban-kicked from the server for exceeding team kill limits. It's his fault for being killed. Back in the early days of MMOs, when EverQuest was still pretty new, I joined my first guild. These guys like to just have fun, drunk fighting, secret Santas for Xmas. The most memorable experience was that we all made gnomes on a different server, maybe 20 members, and we just did a bunch of fun goofy stuff. And then this druid showed up, likely looking for spells. Our guild leader shouted, "Get her!" Of course there was nothing we could actually do to this other PC, but just the sight of 20 gnomes running up to you must have looked crazy. She, of course, has Spirit of Wolf, which allows your run speed to be much faster, so she could run away from us at will, but she'd stop and turn around only to see us all chasing after her again. One of those times where you're laughing so hard you're crying and can't breathe. Good times. Completing the Vault of Glass in Destiny for the first time. Guardians make their own fate sends shivers down my spine every time I see it pop up. And we pushed him off the edge with Warlock grenades. I never owned a PS2, so when I inherited one when my girlfriend and I moved in together, I got to play some 10+ year old games that were still new to me. I bought a used copy of Shadow of the Colossus without knowing anything about the game, based on someone's recommendation on Reddit. Now, I'm an old fart that came from simple video games like those in arcades and on the NES. That ride on the horse down into the canyon and climbing up to discover the first Colossus, following it and having it turn around and look at me, and the sudden shift in music to let me know that there was about to be a fight. Holy crap. I don't think I'll ever experience anything like it again. That game is spectacular. Opening the world map for the first time in World of Warcraft and seeing how big the world game was until my friend told me to right click, which zoomed out the map, and that's when I saw I was in a tiny zone among many other zones. Then I zoomed out again just for kicks and was mind blown there was a whole another continent across the ocean. Other memorable mentions: clearing Zul'Gurub, Molten Core, BWL, Oni for the first time with my back then guild. It took a lot of work and effort, but definitely some of the best gaming moments I've ever had. Raiding with 39 other people who I've never met and constantly raiding together to form a bond and eventually defeating endgame bosses. Kind of crazy thinking back on it how some have even managed to do it, especially the officers raid leaders keeping 40 people in line and focused. 1994. I was 5 years old. My dad came into my bedroom one morning to wake me up. He said he had something awesome to show me. I slowly pulled myself out of bed and followed him. Surely if dad thought it was awesome, it had to be. We walked into the living room and over the our gateway PC. He pointed at it and smiled. I was confused, because this wasn't a new computer. He told me to sit down and turn it on, so I did. He then told me to play Raptor, Call of the Shadows, so I did. This time, though, something was different. He had installed a sound card the night before, so instead of hearing the MIDI stuff, I got to actually hear explosions, machine guns, and music for the first time on the computer. The game suddenly became exponentially more awesome to me. While perhaps a slightly unconventional memory in gaming, this is by far the best one for me. It hooked me on gaming for life. It also got me hooked on tinkering with computers, which I'm now working on doing for the Air Force, which is a much better job than I used to do for the Air Force. When I found out that there was a perk in Fallout 3 that would allow Dogmeat to regenerate if he died, I had to restart so many times before the perk because he kept dying and I refused to continue without him. I don't care if he's not the best, strongest, or smartest companion. I love German Shepherds. He was quiet, and he made me feel so much safer skulking around. Wish I could say the same about the dog in Fable 2. He would bark inconsistently at every stump, and by the end when I was a billionaire there's only one real choice I guess. Slaying the Dragon, Dragon Slayer. In Counter-Strike, any ace nice play you make really gets my heart pumping. Sorta weird one for me. Back when I was little, playing whichever Pokemon game that first introduced Crobat, Little Zubat's final evolution, I caught a shiny Zubat because I thought the color was a tad off, loved that guy and eventually had myself a beautiful pink Crobat. Well, after seeing Goodbye Caterpie or something along that line, where Ash releases his Butterfree to let him go with his pink Butterfree girlfriend, I thought that my Crobat would get lonely by himself and set him free to find a mate. All this because they were both pink. Now I sorta regret this, but I still remember him from time to time when playing X and Y. You just know that every time that Crobat gets some, he's shedding a tear and thanking you from the bottom of his poisonous pink heart. Not knowing where to go in Dark Souls 2, I just thought it was the coolest thing that I was so confused yet was loving slowly figuring out my own story. It was the first Souls game I played and I fell in love with all of them. Beat Chronovi. A few years ago I was super into League of Legends. One night I was playing a ranked match at fairly high level, low diamond high plat if I recall correctly, and everyone at that level usually takes the games pretty seriously. I got far ahead early on, but I was in a silly weird mood so I decided to dance. I typed dance party in all chat and just stood in the middle of the map dancing. I expected someone to try and kill me or poke at me and I was preparing mentally to retaliate. Instead the enemy mid laner who was really far behind just walked up beside me and started dancing as well. He typed dance party in all chat as well and slowly every single person on both teams walked to the middle of the map one by one and started dancing with us. It went on for maybe 2 minutes and then everyone just went back to their lanes to kill large creep waves that had gathered and the game went on like it never happened. It's to this day one of my favorite moments in a game because 10 random people all decided to agree to an unspoken temporary truce to dance together, and no one broke it to try and get ahead. Man, I'd have just said in team chat to clap them all. No mercy in League. I've passed the stage of mercy with that fricking game. Frick League. Getting a nuke in Modern Warfare 2 in one of those modded hacked whatever endless 18-player matches on Rust. This was on Xbox 360. Going for my first nuke in MW2. In the chopper gunner mowing people down. I am at 24 kills. I see a guy with a green box around him. I think to myself, OMG they are telling me where to kill this final person. I am going to nuke. I kill myself. No nuke. I was an idiot. Red Dead Redemption Online with 5 mates. We rounded up some bears and had a boxing match on top of a small wooden shack in a snowy mountain area. If you were knocked off, you get mauled by a bear. To be allowed back on the roof, you had to punch one of the bears in the face. Hours of laughter. None of us have forgotten that. Playing Risk for 4 hours with my flatmates. There are 3 of us left and I am alone in Australia. Throughout the game I have stocked up on cards for troops and they haven't kept track. The 2 left think I am out of the game and are focusing on each other, occasionally mocking me. They think I am weak. They will find they are wrong. The game is coming to a close. One rumored seems poised to win. I act. I throw down my cards and create an army vast and wide blocking out Australia from view. They smell of fear and confusion. It is time. I do not seek to win. Winning is impossible. Nor do I seek to fortify and make a comeback. No, I push onward taking land after land. I am taking heavy casualties. My flatmates do not understand. I push onward until I am spent. I have taken most of the world but have only a single troop for each place. Easy to lose. They realize what I have done. I have undone 4 hours of gameplay. They will take back most of their land. But we will be as in the beginning. All they have done has been lost. Pointless. Are you freaking kidding me? One asks. We have been playing for 4 freaking hours. Frick this, you wonk shaft, says the second. They get up and leave angry and lost. I remain. The sole player left and so I am victorious. I sit on my throne of ash and know I have wasted my evening. It is 3 in the morning and I have uni tomorrow at 9. Frick. You can't have more than 5 cards in your hand though. You have been visited by the science doggo. Upvote now and you will get high grades and good results within the next week. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.